family. Welcome back for another edition of the Wednesday Night Pulse, powered by the Family Bloodline Network. And oh, goodness, do we have some things to get into tonight, gentlemen. We will be joined by Deuce a little bit later on, and I expect a few other guests to hop in. So, with that being said, let's just hop in and get after it. So, the first things first, right?
It's over.
It's over. It's over. But before that, Representative Adelita Grijalva was actually sworn in. And during her swearing in, she directly signed the petition to be the 218th vote.
Wait, she was sworn in today?
Yeah, she got sworn in today. Probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, roughly, she got sworn in. And so during her speech, she signed the actual petition to be the 218th vote for the release of the Epstein files and all of that other good stuff. So interesting times are coming around. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. So I just wanted to make mention of that because that's going to be some pretty high-powered, high-staking news. But in other news, as Lynn mentioned, the government shutdown. It reached its final votes a few minutes ago, probably actually more like 30 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago. And the president of the United States is set to sign it, the CR, at 9:45. Now, there's a timeline for the current CR, which is 60 days roughly, maybe 60, 65 days, which to me is a bit foolish, but we'll say that for later on in the actual podcast. So with that being said, the government shutdown. Lynn, how do you feel about this?
I hate that it went out the way it did. Well, first of all, I'm glad it's over. I was hoping that they would get what they held out for.
Yeah.
But it just appears that they found 8 people that really don't have too much going on out in the future. So they could,
yeah,
they could get them swayed today, and I just hope. And what's unfortunate now is when I look at my phone, I don't know what to believe. Because I saw a story today where they voted against the subsidies, and that's not true.
It is not.
But that's the story I saw today.
Got a fact check.
Well, that's how I found out. I fact check. I didn't, but I read a story and then I gotta go here, there, over there, over here, back over there. With the Epstein thing, with the email. That's true.
Yes.
But I gotta go here, there, and over there. It's like everything that I read. Once upon a time, I could read a story and feel like I have just consumed some facts.
Sure.
But in these days and times, I don't know. I feel like my grandfather. I'm wearing my USC T-shirt today, and when USC would lose, he didn't believe it until he tuned into the USC official radio station on his transistor. And once he heard them say it, it was now official. I feel like that's where I am, where I gotta go forum shopping all over the place and piecemeal facts together, patchwork, and to get the whole story. And it's frustrating. And it just, and I hate the fact that this is the new reality.
Yep.
Like, this is what we have to do in order to consume our knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. But let me read off the list of those 8 Democratic senators who
8 Dems and
No, 7 Dems, 1 independent.
7 Dems and
Dems and an independent.
there you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
So we have Senator Catherine. Yep, that's it. I was going to do that, but I didn't want to give them more.
They
More
need
air.
security. They need security.
Yeah. Yeah. So Senator Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, Senator Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire, Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, Senator Angus King. Angus King of Maine, Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada, Senator Jean Shaheen of New Hampshire, and I think I read them all just that fast.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You said Janine Sheehan of New Hampshire?
Yeah,
But didn't you also say Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire?
I did.
Yep. 2 Nevadas and 2 New Hampshires.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, and so
What I
So-
read, they're all either rich or very rich.
oh, absolutely. Not only are they ridiculously rich, but they also don't have. They're not sacrificing anything for an upcoming election anytime soon, right?
Mhm.
So they feel as if their positions are safe, and they can, play by the old rules that they are used to. And I'll say this: from the late 1900s throughout the 2000s, some of those folks have been holding a position in the government for 27 plus years.
Mhm.
And so they're operating as if this is the same type of administration, or it's just business as usual, as it were, at the end. So Rich, where are you with this?
Well, so you told me, Mr. Glass, that they would fold. I'm done.
So the implication.
Hold on, Richard, they didn't fold.
Okay.
See, you can't put that whole collective together and make that a pup tent. You can't. You found chinks in the armor. And kudos to the people that sought those specific people out, did their research. Like, look, you ain't got to worry about nothing in front of 26. You good? You can't be primaried. You are all right. So do give us solid.
If you noticed, and I'm not the type of person to walk away from no argument. You notice how quiet I am tonight. I'm very calm, very professional.
Steph said it just started.
I'm just.
You like that car in the garage that got to heat up. You got to start the car, get out, go do some other stuff, then jump in the car and drive off.
When y'all first came on, it sounded like I was a Black Republican. And then when I was rooting for the Democrats on a righteous issue, because I believe in universal health care, they let me down. They did exactly what I knew they were going to do. But I was putting hope and prayer. See, when I said that Steve Bannon said a few months ago he was cursing on PBS. We don't curse on PBS, but he did. And he dared them to correct him. But he knew they wouldn't, because Donald Trump would correct them. And he said the Democrats are weak. They've always been weak. And you can hit them upside their face and they'll fold. And what he was really talking about was the Southerner mindset that they will never, ever concede the Civil War. That's the Southern mindset that's deep inside the Republican Party on the far right. And so what they said is, we're not going to even negotiate with these so-called Democrats, and they'll fold, they'll break, They're weak. They're insignificant. They're beneath us. And that's what the Democrats did overall. No matter how you try to spin it, what they said from the very beginning, the Republicans, they held their ground. But that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose in this great country. I can accept my loss.
So, and Steph, what are your thoughts on it? Because I don't want you to think that you're not in on this conversation. But what are your thoughts on it?
Basically like what Lynn said, I'm glad that it's over. But at the same time where we didn't get everything that we wanted, but I just hate that so many people had to suffer, and so with that said, I'm just glad it's over. I'm not happy with I would just say everything. I'm glad that it is over, and I just feel like more tricks are being pulled out the bag, because you're just like, what are we doing here? It's like, surprise! Now look at this. So I don't know.
The Democrats didn't get anything.
Well, that was about to be my next question, right? No, you're fine. That's a perfect segue, because out of the 6.5, 7 weeks that we were shut down, and with the 7 Democrats and 1 independent fold. Well, I don't even want to say they folded, right?
Yeah, they folded. So that group of 8.
Yeah, they folded.
Like a house of cards.
Yeah. So, but what did they get out of it? What came out of it? What was this the time for them to fold? Should they have maintained, or what was that?
Why did they even go on this fight if you were going to fold and then it was going to be rectified? Ironically, and I was counting these days out.
Yeah,
they didn't do it in 30 days. They didn't do it in 34 or 37. They did it 43. 43 days, which is a righteous number. So I find that interesting. But you put all that fight up to say, well, we have to do something. But the Republicans were saying, we're not doing anything. And they held their ground.
Well, the Republicans claim that they're going to do what?
Oh, take a vote on the...
okay.
They gave a pinky promise? Sure.
Okay.
I think they did it because
they didn't have to do that, did they?
Chose those 8 because it was safe. They were thinking more of what they didn't have to lose, like you said, since they didn't have any upcoming elections and everything. So it was safe for them to do that, and they're not looking to lose anything. And by the time it does come for a re-election, if people even remember, how our minds get zapped every day with the new stuff that's out, so people may forget by then when it's time for people to vote, even if they're eligible to run again.
But wait a minute,
Worship Glass, may I step in?
Yeah, Brother Brooks, by all means.
I look at it like this situation. This is a situation where the Democrats touted that they forced this. They said, hey, we're doing this for those subsidies for the ACA, Obamacare. And they said it was for a specific reason to extend those or re-extend those subsidies that were removed from the big, beautiful bill, as they call it. And what they did is just for 40 days. It's not been 43 for some gentleman who said, but no offense, I'm not trying to discredit you.
Today's the 43rd day.
So
I thought it was the 41st day.
No, it's 43rd today. 43rd
Okay,
day.
fair enough. I'll take that. And so what they did is they were like, oh, okay, you know what? We're doing this for those subsidies. Over and over and over again, Democratic leaders said they were doing this for that specific reason. And then the Republicans gave them a promise of like, you know what, we'll give you a vote. So they got the 8, we'll call it 7-1, as we talked about before, in the Senate, which means, okay, great. sometime in December. Well, they actually originally said sometime in the future, which we don't know when that's going to be. And then they said sometime in December because they wanted a more defined date. Then we'll give you a vote. And even if that vote passes, it's going to go to the House because the Republicans control the Senate. The Republicans control the House because it's not midterm elections yet. And then it gets to go to the president's desk, which do you think the president's going to actually sign that bill? No. This is the stupidest strategy. I can't even imagine like how awful of a strategy this is.
I'll tell you how awful it is. Let's see, Mr. Brooks, and to the whole panel, let's see if it is true. I guess Senator Schumer is not even running for re-election when it's time for him to come up, or will he get primaried by AOC? If that's just a conspiracy theory.
I don't think necessarily it's a conspiracy theory. I think there's going to be a lot of people far left than Schumer who are going to be in that quote-unquote race. But that's only going to hurt the Democrats even more, which is exactly what the Republicans want. They're like, good, great, guys. Keep digging yourself in that hole. We want Mondami. We want AOC. We want, like, this is great. Because then they can easily show a difference between the two parties.
Well, you can show a difference now. That's
sure. Sure,
right?
But like some people are like not necessarily paying attention, right? You know, they're just not. They're like, you know, like I follow politics because I'm from Ohio, right? Yeah. I'm biased, and I want the 9th U.S. president from Ohio, right? Because there's been 8 so far. So like I'm a little, you know, I talk to my California friends. I play on your team. I'm not from your town. This is the state of like, oh, you guys hope for the best, really, but come up with the worst plan.
Yeah, but I don't know if that'll work just yet, right? Because Mamdani, he's not been in office to do anything just yet, right? He doesn't
100%.
have. He hasn't.
100%.
He hasn't even had a chance to fail.
But he's a pawn in the piece on the chessboard of like, hey, all they can easily say now is, hey, look, guys. You elected a Democratic Socialist. He's not endearing like Bernie. He's just not. I lived in Vermont, where his wife was the president of Burlington College. He's not actually like Bernie's like actually really kind, almost funny, kind of cool dude.
But why?
Like,
why does it have to be? Why does he have? Why does he need to be? Hold on, give me a second, because
go ahead.
This is a very different political climate that we're in. And so the things and strategies that used to happen no longer happen. Like, let's be honest, the current POTUS has changed the climate of politics in general, right? Where you had the nice guys against the bad guys. Now, and even Governor Gavin Newsom has added to that. The way he's trolled the president. And then if you listen to a lot of the Democrats at this point, when they're making their appearances, the usage of foul language, quote unquote, has become a normal thing.
100% correct, Rishi.
Yeah.
And the reason why, like, but you can't troll the king of the troll.
Oh no! He has been
right.
Newsom has been getting back at the president, and he has not been enjoying that. But let me ask this question to the panel. Let me ask this: what does this spell out for the future? Right? You mentioned Chuck Schumer. I don't think AOC is going to be his opposition because I believe the Democratic Party has different plans for her. But is he going to get ousted? Is he going to get ousted? Chuck Schumer, is he going to get ousted sooner or later? Sooner rather than later? And if he does, who is his replacement going to be? Who do they have to platform? I'll start that question with Stephen Lynn.
See, the way I see it, the way I is, you know, Schumer has to take the fall, but I don't blame him. I mean, he didn't know that this group of knuckleheads were going to go off and do this side deal on a Sunday while we're all watching football. But as the leader, he has to, take that hit. I believe that he will weather the storm because, for me, it's the way people evaluate what he did. And he stood tall. He did not fold. He was unrelenting. He had me convinced that they were never going to give. They were going to die on that hill.
Yeah.
He himself died on that hill. Now he can't be. But this is what I was talking about before when we got into it about this strategy of bringing in 50 million illegals and planting them like trees for 20 years down the road. And I told this panel that politicians don't move that way. They move for themselves. They're not moving for their group 20 years hence. They're not doing that. So we saw in real live time these 8 people go for self.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. And I will evaluate Chuck like he was portrayed. He was out there on that hill holding that flag, holding it down, and 8 people that were behind him scurried over to the enemy and folded.
Yeah.
So but as I do understand the way leadership works, that the person who's leading has to take a couple of arrows, a couple bullets, a couple, whole shoulder hits or something. But I don't think it'll be a headshot for him. I think, like Stephanie was saying, people's memories are short enough. People misremember or remember things different as time goes by. And in mid-December, we don't know what may be going on with this Epstein stuff. Because the person in the White House is always looking for a misdirect. How Richard was talking about, it's not a stimulus now, Richard. It's a dividend. Got to get them dividends out to the po people.
There you go.
To the po people. The po people got to get their dividends, and that's a distraction. That's a distraction from what may be going on in mid-December while we're having Christmas parties and stuff like that. We may be getting
and getting softer.
Yeah. As all the holidays hit, boom, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. Everything hitting everybody on the chin. Yeah. And kumbaya and lovey-dovey
and then
stuff.
Look, the new year, let's put this all behind us.
Yes,
we don't know.
Y'all hold on fast.
And then the other thing is like pulling all these extra tricks out of the bag. Like, you thought that was cool? Watch this. It's like, what? Shutdown. What's that? Look at this now. Everybody's gonna. I just feel like there are more turns and dark caves on this ride. We haven't even. Yeah, that was just the first couple of loops. So hang on tight.
Yeah. Okay. Rich, your thoughts on that?
His last elections in 22, he won with a 56% of the vote. 2016, he had 70%. So he went down 14%. So I'm just going to take off 4% here and say that he can go down another 10%. And that's a race to the finish on whoever's racing him, even out of the primary or even into the general. He can be beat right now. And I know you said, well, they have other plans for AOC, and you may be right by that. Maybe she's running for vice president. Not sure. But
with Gavin?
Well,
no way.
Hold on. Now, I said that Gavin is the shoo-in. I think he's already won the Democratic nominee. Now, you call him Gavin, I call him Pretty Boy. It's the same thing. Somebody else said that he won't be the Democratic nominee. So maybe I'm wrong there.
Who will be?
Yeah.
If not him.
That's a good point. Good question.
Well, who did they say? I'm sure you asked the person.
No, they didn't say.
Ah.
So,
Maybe it's rich.
you know, now they may know something that I don't know. But
Rich, you sure you don't have a hat in the game? Oh no, you
Oh, Stephen A. Smith is that's who they got. Stephen A. Smith.
no, I didn't get no. So the Democrats blew this. And they have no one to blame but themselves. When you say that you're going to fight for people of both parties, not just Democrats, of new races for the enhanced subsidies to continue so they can have health care, so they can afford to take care of their health care. And the Republicans say, we're never going to negotiate this with you during this situation. See, right now, they could have forced them to say, you're going to give this to them and now we'll reopen the government. But as Mr. Brooks said, you took a pinky promise from a party that you says has no credibility, starting with its leader, President Trump. And then even if you are lucky to win in the Senate, which you won't, it gets back to the House, and you definitely won't win the House. Now, I was looking at the two Republicans. I was looking for a name. The two Republicans who voted no in the House.
Yeah, I saw that also. They put the names out just yet, so we won't be able to see that.
I thought it passed the House already.
Yeah, so the two Democrats who voted no, that crossed over to vote no on this CR, was Massey of Kentucky and Stubbe of Florida. I was looking for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No,
I didn't see it.
And you won't. You won't.
I thought the House already.
Yeah.
I thought the House already approved it.
Right. So she was on Bill Maher like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
They haven't approved it yet. And then she was on CNN a week or two ago after going on Bill Maher. So anyway, Chuck Schumer, you getting primary.
Deuce, welcome on. Talking to government shutdown. And the latest question was asking about essentially the future of Schumer. And
Schumer ain't running again, man. Schumer's next re-election is what, 28? I don't even think he's going for re-election.
26.
Nah, it's 28.
Is it 20?
Yeah, it's not 26.
I'm sorry. You're right.
The Democrats that voted for this are either not up for re-election or plan on retiring.
Lame ducks. You got 8 lame ducks.
Exactly. So Schumer know he's out. Like who likes Chuck? Nobody likes Chuck. Chuck is whack. Chuck is whack.
Jeez,
so yeah, he's out. I think that's why the Dems released that email trail with Epstein and Trump, because they pissed. But I think it already passed. I think the House already signed off on it because they started voting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I think the last thing I saw is they approved it. So that's it, right? It goes to Trump.
Arizona.
Yeah, they started the votes at 7. They ended at about 7:45, 8:10, 8:15ish. And so now since it did pass, it's going to POTUS. It's going across.
But think about it like this, team panel here, like the Democrats were winning the ideology on this whole shutdown. They were crushing them. They just smoked like in that whole voting poll for the elections. And then because they kowtowed pretty much, just bowed out like this, it's going to flip on them.
Well, let me push back just a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. And this is why, because once things got pushed back to the House, there was still a fortified, unified type of message, right? Hakeem Jeffries made it clear that they're going to continue to fight for Americans' health care. I got it, right? And right now, a lot of people have a horrible taste in their mouths for the Democrats because, again, like agreeing with you, Brother Brooks, they had momentum on their side.
They did.
They gave it up. Right?
They didn't give it up. They just fumbled the ball at the Ernest Biner 2-yard line like the Browns did.
It's not that they fumbled. They gave that up at the Senate level, right?
Yeah.
They gave that up. So I think for the House, the Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries as the leader, minority leader at that point, he's platforming better than Schumer is, and that's the honest truth, right? Even he still has the ability to readjust the message for the Democratic Party, even moving into the midterms. So I don't think that the midterms are a wash just yet. I think the Democrats still have the ability to have a strong message.
I don't think this helps them. They've been polling at like 23% from the CNN poll for like a good year.
So
And then all of a sudden, like, oh, you have the momentum. You have like, great, you got some new people elected. And then you, for like, it's almost the same ideology what they said about Joe Biden, right? Where they were like, yeah, he's healthy, he's sane, he's cool, he's great, he's sharp. And then he bombs. And this is the same thing. Like, yeah, we're going to hold the line. We're going to hold the line for this because we care about these like ACA subsidies like being reinstated. And then they just don't.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I'll make this quick. If you have any type of, Mr. Glass, if you have any type of confidence in this man called Hakeem Jeffries, I could take Lynn Medeiros and put him up there, and he could basically run rings around Hakeem Jeffries that has to, well, what we're going to do, you don't inspire me at all, Hakeem Jeffries. Not at all. I get more inspiration.
Rich, but Rich, he had that picture. He had that picture with a baseball bat, Rich.
Okay.
So, dude, where are you at with that? The platform, the messaging for the Democrats moving forward. Where are you at with that? I'm this just in all fairness, I will ask the two Democrats on the panel that same question. I will pose that to you all because it's a messaging issue to me for the Democrats still, especially right now. So where are you sitting with that?
So for one, it's trash now because we all on here said the Democrats are trash at messaging, right? We all on here said they are terrible at it, man. It's like Soulja Boy trying to put an album together, man. It's just not working, right? And then when they do stumble, they literally stumbled on this, man. They didn't create this narrative. This is from MAGA. They stumbled on this narrative to help the American people with the healthcare subsidies, and they fumbled that. The thing I don't get, the only narrative they have is Chuck Schumer is great at quitting. He's great at fumbling, except he doesn't give up the chairmanship. I don't know why he won't fumble his job as a senator. Just quit. Sit down. You fumble everything else.
Can I reply to you? Like, what do they do with Nancy Pelosi? It took her, 50 years to, like, leave, finally?
I like that, but I'll give you this. I know there's a lot of backlash from Nancy, the inside trading queen, but you can never say Nancy was weak.
100%. She was awesome. She was awesome for the Democratic Party. Great fundraiser. Absolute plastic surgery queen. Like, absolute.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. We're not going to bash Congresswoman, former Speaker of the House, Pelosi. For all the things she's done, for all the money that her and her husband have made, she is no different than the rest of those federal legislators when they're able to participate in votes when they have stocks in those companies. I'm not hearing that tonight.
I'm not even saying that, sir. I actually think she was probably the most badass Democratic woman force outside of maybe Hillary there is. Period. Okay. But she's gone now because like her time is up. And clearly,
yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, when your spouse is attacked and survives a near-death attack, it may shake you up somewhat to where you can say, you know what, I think I'm done. It may.
Should have been.
Not for everybody, but if you attack someone's spouse, you may call that person's cards where they say, what's more important, serving in the federal government or being with my spouse?
Sure.
Okay.
Steph and Lynn, where are you all with it at this point? Democratic messaging. How is it? How y'all feeling? Hakeem Jeffries.
I'm still all on Nancy. at 85, still holding it down. But anyway, yeah. Okay. I'm sticking with my look. It's mine, and I'm sticking with them. Like that's that's my party. What party is perfect?
And yeah, and what I'll say is, this game is so much like so many other games where it's not over. And it's so funny that every Monday a team is finished, a player is washed,
A coach is fired.
and look, I'm not a Texans fan, but I watched the Texans game. They went to fourth quarter down 29-10. And they won the game 36-29.
That is very hopeful.
And no, but what my point is,
Right.
that's where you have to be.
Yeah.
And a fat ass like Damian Woody would say that those were empty calories, right? Right? Empty calories. A guy who never missed a calorie he didn't love. But when you put all those empty calories together, they got the W. And all I'm saying is, this is what happened with the election. Biden had a horrible game, and they bailed on him.
Yeah.
But if you could go back in the Wayback Machine and keep that timeline intact, and say, what would have happened if we had stood with him? Because I want to see.
Wait. If you're gonna do that, then you really have to go back to Biden of busing. You remember that?
No.
The same guy.
I'm talking about going back to the summer of last year.
Yeah.
I'm not
okay. I was about to say.
Another century.
Right.
You got to be selective of what you're going to choose for Biden.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about going back and say, what would have happened if we had stood with our guy, Richard? Yeah. Richard, do you ever wonder what would have happened if people had stood with their guy in your situation? Right?
Oh.
But we bailed. I was in a situation.
Okay.
Oh, I think they froze up.
Yeah, I think they did. Because I
was waiting for that. I was waiting.
He's got to come back. We'll wait for him.
Yeah. So just continuing on until they come back, until they hop back up. Have the Democrats lost all of their momentum at this point? Just tagging on to what Lynn was saying. Is this the are we looking at this as is everyone looking at this as well, that game is over, we got to get ready for next week? And I'm asking that because what I've seen happen, the complacency with the Democratic Party is ridiculous. Right, it's absolutely ridiculous. They just came off of highs from elections here recently, and they all celebrated. They celebrated, and they should not have been celebrating. They should have gotten back onto the campaign trail and continue those efforts. Got complacent, and they begin to celebrate. And right off at the hind parts of that, you have this happening. Right, so. What does this look like as far as if we're going to use the analogy of it being like a game, Brother Brooks? How do you feel about that?
So I look like it's okay. Great. First quarter of the game, we start off, it's hot and it's contested. It's a good defensive game. And the Democrats come out hot and they score that first touchdown because you know what? In those elections, damn, they got 5. They killed it. They were moving the ball. They were running it. They were throwing good first downs, and they got the touchdowns. They were spiking the ball. They were doing the little happy dance, and then they got a safety, and then they from that safety they punted the ball out from they kicked off the ball from that safety, and then the Republicans just scored a touchdown on them from a kickoff from that safety because it kills that momentum. And it wipes out what you just did. Yes, you have those 5 people, but they just nullified it in one fell swoop 7 days later.
Wait a minute. So in those 5 people that they won, those five areas, they were going to win Prop 50 here in California.
Mm-hmm.
The New Jersey election, they had a great chance to win. The Virginia election, they had a great chance to win. New York was a done deal. So even though they were quite successful, it wasn't like they weren't predicted to really win a majority of those races.
No, but like those were like major initiatives. That's what I'm saying. Those are major. Like you're rolling down the freaking field, throwing some freaking like good first down, great catch. And you're moving, and they were moving. This is the first time they moved the ball in a good damn long time.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny about you saying that? They were throwing the ball and they forgot that the way you really win in football is you have to be able to run the ball.
100%. Yeah, but they were getting some chunk yardage. You know what I mean? They were. That's legit. That's true. And then finally, they were like, okay, and they got the Republicans got the ball back after the kickoff. They had to punt, and then the Democrats just, quoting the movie Stand By Me, screwed the pooch, and literally just got a safety, and then they kicked it off from that safety, and then Republicans ran it back, and it nullifies this.
I gotta push back on this narrative, right? I think
go ahead, go sir. Absolutely.
It's all too early. We're talking football. I'm gonna take it back to the greatest show on turf. I'm gonna take it back to the St. Louis Rams back in the
St. Louis Rams.
Oh, you gotta be calm down. You gotta be kidding me.
Right, those cats right there, because they either smash you in the beginning and ride it out, or you get on top of them and they come back in the fourth quarter. Okay.
Okay.
Too soon, man. The Democrats had a great run with the early election. Sure, they can use it as a barometer to see how the real midterms are going to go. But we're so far out, man. We're talking about the American public. We're talking about
the reason why I'm saying this, sir, I'll push back to you, because if you're going to talk about football and momentum and back and forth, right, and then the description I just described, think about it. They agreed to a promise to hey, we're going to have this vote for you as long as you reopen the government, and then you got to go through the spin cycle of the Senate, which you're not going to sure, they're going to have the vote. Sure, that's the promise. Idiots. And then you're going to have to go to the House, which is just by some miracle it happens. And then you're going to get to Trump. It's the stupidest deal on the planet.
Here's what I think. Let me say this part now.
You got to do. You got it.
Think they're betting on America's short-term memory. We are a TikTok, Instagram nation. Trump came up here saying that he's getting the best deals that have ever been done on Earth because the deals America had were trash. Well, he was the one that did these deals in the first place. America doesn't trace this stuff back, and I think the Dems. I don't know if it's intentionally or unintentionally, because they are kind of, they have their head up their ass sometimes. I'm betting on the fact that Americans won't remember this. They won't remember what the Dems
Trump
voted on.
Will. If you notice him, he has the best damn memory as any politician there is. This guy is a vengeful motherfucker.
Hold on, Brother Brooks.
Go ahead. Sorry, my language.
Does not have the best memory at all.
No. He's a vengeful dude. He takes numbers.
No, he does not. He does not. We've got to insert truth to power.
Okay. We're absolutely. Go ahead.
Trump has absolutely fabricated every number that he's stated in the White House in both of his actual sittings. He's fabricated every single number that has come out of his mouth. Literally.
Would you disagree or agree with me that he remembers, what they said in what was that so Game of Thrones, the North remembers? Trump remembers.
Trump remembers one of two things. You either voted for him or you didn't.
Exactly my point.
And that's it, right? For example, North Carolina is about to get troops sent out to them.
Yep.
he primarily pushed troops out to cities that overwhelmingly
NC,
voted
he's pushing out
against.
to NC too.
Yeah, that was something that I saw right before
I
I
didn't
came
know
down
that.
to the basement to hop on. Yeah. So Trump does not have a great memory. Trump has exaggerated lies, literally, to the American people. And I've got to say that. I have to say that. And I'll say that and push forward to the next thing that I was going to ask about is at the end of the day, after both of these parties, before I even go there, while we're fighting about ACA and citizens having health care and not having health care and immigrants being able to go to emergency services and not, why don't we just pass universal health care?
Because it doesn't work. It's not worked in like Canada. It's not worked in like Holland. It's not worked in like almost any country that exists.
You triggered me. So
You didn't, no. You didn't trigger me. I'm just telling the facts.
No.
And like, if you look at the population in these countries where it exists, it's not even near the population of America.
Hold on, Mr. Brooks. You have triggered me.
Oh no. Go ahead, guys. I'm going to stop talking. Go ahead.
Let me tell you why. See, the media wants to convince everyone that America is so big that they can't afford.
It's not true. Yeah.
To do universal health care. And what I want to say is, hold on, wait. Before you start talking and doing your filibuster, let me say this.
Wow.
I want to pull up all the money that the Pentagon has got for the military spending for the last 10 to 20 years. And it's in the hundreds of billions. So I don't want to hear that shit about we can't afford when you print the damn money up out of thin air to begin with when the U.S. government borrows from the fucking Fed. So don't get me started on this shit tonight.
No, I didn't say we couldn't afford it. It just didn't work.
No,
we got a new East Wing.
No. It does work. Now, you want to keep talking? I'm going to keep talking. Don't tell me in my country that I was going to die for and the God that I serve that we can't get the job done. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. So no, all that. You go on TV and say all that stuff that they want you to say on TV from those damn producers. But don't tell me we can't get the job done. We don't have enough quality Americans to go into the medical field. We don't need folks from China, folks from India. God bless their heart. But we got enough people right here in this country to get the job done.
So why isn't it in like France or Germany or like why isn't it in any other big country?
Because they don't want us to have.
We don't have to be like them.
That's why.
He's making the argument.
I'm gonna be calm and cool and collected. I don't want to hear that about that health care.
So let me ask that.
They're saying that damn.
Let's pose that. Why can't universal health care work? And I'm posing to the subject matter experts first. Why can't universal health care work in America? Or why can't it work in America?
It can work.
Well, hold on, Rich. That's for stepping in.
I'm sorry.
Those are our resident experts. I gotta get them first.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It can work, but we don't want it. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the citizenry.
Right. Yeah.
We're talking about power. The power structure does not want it because the way the game is set up, the way the chess pieces are on the board, the lobby. What happens to the lobby with universal health care?
It'll disappear.
There you go. So the people that are in power, that what the Palpatine said, those who are in power
control
losing it.
No, those who you don't care about who makes the laws, and whoever controls the power of printing the money controls you.
Okay, but it's about power. Yeah. And what I've always said, I don't know if I made this up. I've been saying it more than half my life. What you care about gets done. Period. Yeah. If this country, I've worked at a company that cared about diversity. All of a sudden, diversity was, the rule of the day. Then
Yeah.
folks came in, didn't care about diversity. All of a sudden,
Yep.
all these diverse things and opportunities and what have you go away because it starts at the top. The reason why the ACA exists is because Barack Obama cared about it. And he had a see, you can say whatever you want about any other president as long as you live until it happens again. I don't think it'll happen again. But this man came in and everybody was hell bent. They had playbooks to thwart everything on his agenda.
Every weapon was,
and he still got shit done.
Yeah.
So we could have the short answer is we could have it, right? But what do we have to give up? It's like you go to your parents. Why don't we have HBO?
Wait, hold on.
Well, we can have HBO, but if we get HBO,
wait a minute, Lynn.
Then you can't have XYZ.
No, wait a minute. See, that idea that in order to get something, you have to give up something. That's that European concept bullshit.
No. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying you have to give something up.
Right.
What I'm saying is you can't have universal health care and something else. You got to.
No, wait a minute. No. So
you can't have universal health care and the lobby for health care.
Okay, wait a minute. What I'm saying to you, if my history is correct, one of the ways that Hillary and Barack peace, and she said, I won't run against you, I'll be your Secretary of State, was about the health care. My memory serves me correct. And when the Democrats in the House and the Senate said we control both, when he got elected in 2000, they said now is the time for universal health care because we control it. And he didn't want to quite go that far. So the opportunity for the Democrats to have gotten universal health, now would it have been repealed? Possibly.
Yeah, but see, you're missing the point I made in that he had everything coming at him.
That's correct.
Everything. So it wasn't the time. People forgot this dude had to get a $800 billion bailout.
Yeah.
And I was against that.
Yeah. But that was on his desk first. That was the first thing on his desk. Right. Him and McCain were debating about the package.
Right. Well, I want to ask you some more questions to get back on
wait a minute. One quick thing about that. This is where I agreed with the Republicans against bailing out the banks. But on the other hand, I agree with the far left of the Democratic Party about universal health care. So when people were asking me, why don't you belong to one of these two parties? I said, because there's some things on both sides that I strongly agree.
Yeah, I'm tracking everything y'all saying, but I want to get back to the question at hand. All right, so I'm gonna pose this I'm gonna ask the question back, right? Glass and Rich, you got Brooks. I don't know if you were in Lynn. I don't know if you were ever in the service or not. We have universal health care in the military, right?
Sure. Yeah.
How quick can you see your primary doctor? How long does it take you to get? Because sometimes if I make a dental appointment, it's like 2 or 3 months out. So how quick can you see your primary doctor or your primary dentist? Can you see that person the same day you go?
Just as fast if I had a regular doctor.
Okay.
No.
Interesting. Glass.
You can't.
Yeah.
The thing about
let me say, Rich, I'm gonna say this point. I'll step back. There has to be some type of control mechanism with healthcare, because Canada has universal healthcare. The way they control it is through resourcing. It works just like the military does. You want to see your provider for XYZ, you have to wait X amount of months because they only have so many resources. Here in America, the control mechanism is price, right? That's how they control the flow of patients coming in. Because the healthcare system here, Canada, UK, there's not enough providers and equipment to handle the influx of people that will come in. So they control it one way or the other. Canada, resources and taxes. UK, resources, taxes. China's weird. Everybody there. So Germany, resources, taxes. America, they control us through money. That's how they control the flow of people going in. Now,
and it's more because like Americans are egotistical. They do not want to wait. So like, if I need to see my doctor, I want to see my doctor, she or he, now. Like, and they are not willing to wait.
It's true. Wait a minute. No, wait. I'm not being great. Hold on. I'm not.
Here's an idea, right? Because I understand the ability of wanting to see the ability or not the ability of wanting to see your primary care physician as soon as possible. So since we have such an influx of students coming to America to receive their schooling, right? How about we make it mandatory for those same students who are coming over to America to get to study to become a doctor, make it mandatory for them to stay an additional 4 or 5 years before returning to their home country.
I think Trump was trying to do that. I'm pretty sure he talked about doing that. Yeah.
I got it. Well, if he did, I would agree with him. That way we can ease that. We could ease that constricting, that friction point, because I don't agree with you.
This is what frustrates me. I'm told that if you make universal health care, things won't be the same. All this money that goes around in this country and all the millions that goes into the Pentagon that's untraceable, and then you're going to tell me you're going to tell me what you can't do, but I can get on this cell phone and call Shamikwa in Africa and have a conversation and probably have an X-rated video and do everything else off a damn cell phone. But you're going to tell me you can't put a...
Richard, will the doctors get paid the same? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
they don't.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
See, this is the argument.
They won't.
Hold on, wait. Let me finish this.
They won't.
When President Trump put on the tariffs, the Republicans said, wait a minute, we believe in a free market. You're putting a tax on imports coming in. He said, I don't care. So when you keep saying about if you do universal health care, the doctor's money will go down. It doesn't have to, because if you can get
the small business owners that are paying tariffs, did their money go down?
Trump didn't know what.
Did their money go down?
Trump didn't know what a tariff was.
Did their money go down, Richard? It did.
When you get permanent, hold on, we don't know yet. When you
and now he's going to give it back to you as a dividend.
When you
smell
get
that $2,000, it's going to smell like booty juice.
When you give permanent tax breaks to a corporation, don't tell me what you can't do for the American people. I don't want to hear that.
All right, Richard, I will say to you, until actual teachers make as much money as doctors, they're not going to do a dang thing for freaking healthcare. Period.
So I just posed that question just to be clear, and the reason why I posed it is because what we've been presented information from these two sides without being given another option or thinking outside of why can't Americans be like the other countries that do have?
Let me ask you, wait a minute. Y'all keep saying about price and money.
I'm talking about price and money. I'm simply saying that the issue that I'm having with both of these parties right now is they're not presenting other options that are feasible.
Because they're being controlled, and I told you guys this from the very beginning I came on this podcast. They're being controlled by people you don't see. As long as you have the Federal Reserve System that you can print up money out of thin air, when the U.S. government needs its money, it doesn't print up its own money. Everybody who's watching this show tonight, understand this. When the U.S. government needs money, it goes to a private banker and borrows the money with interest instead of printing up its own damn money. As long as you keep doing that kind of silliness, you can turn and give $40 billion to Argentina, but you can have us arguing over on this podcast about, well, we sure can't afford universal health care. You know, that's
no, we can't afford it, Richard. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it.
You're missing the point. Richard, you made two good points. You talked about the money that the government puts into DOD, right? You talked about the Pentagon. Right? The Pentagon goes out to secure assets for America. Then you mentioned Venezuela. Hold on. We talked about this before. Venezuela has the largest oil reserve, untapped oil reserve, underdeveloped oil reserve on earth, larger than Saudi Arabia, which we're using the Pentagon to direct the Navy to go to Venezuela to secure that. So my point is, they put money.
Wait. Let him speak. I want to hear this.
they put money into things that bring assets back into America.
Tell you what,
And we all know, this is my last point, we all know that healthy Americans, they haven't figured out how they can make money off of healthy Americans' backs. They figured out how they can make money off of the treatment of things, not curing. And as they got closer to this deal, this is a pinky promise, I put in the text. Y'all can timestamp it. Rich and Laz know. I said healthcare going through the roof. UNH, United Healthcare, shot through the motherfucking roof, man, because of money, Rich. So it doesn't matter who controls the money, it's who gets the money. Because even in countries where they don't have a fiat currency, they do run on like gold or something else. They still have a collective people that control it, man.
So do you know what like happens like when like a big disaster happens? So like you say you have like the aid care and whatever. Well, like the Katrina, what they were complaining about is like you say you send $100,000 to the aid Katrina, it would take $80,000 that would get to like the company. And then like $20,000 would all of a sudden like kind of disappear to like the administrative stuff. And then it would like be like $20,000 all of a sudden disappear to like something. And then like the actual country, the actual like Katrina or I guess what we call it New Orleans at that point would get like 24 or 5% of it. That is the problem.
Agreed.
That is the problem.
No, that's not the only problem. That's part of the problem. I'm going to tell you about this.
By J.J. Watt and NFL, where did that money go?
You're talking about the problem at the end of the line. I'm telling you, until a government prints its own money and those people have a true democracy and not an electoral college, we'll keep talking the same nonsense for the next 20 years.
What does that have to do with greed, Rich? Like Brooks just talked about it. What he talked about has nothing to do with printing money.
It doesn't matter. That's what you guys fail to realize. Until you stop the Fed, you'll have the same problem 20 years from now. It won't even matter. It doesn't.
I agree with you because we don't own our even when if we consider the fiat dollar, and I don't want to jump off into economics too far, but we don't even own it. That's not ours. It's not owned by the people of the United States of America. That's owned by a company that we don't control, and we have to go to them to request them to fund us because we don't print our own money.
How many Americans really? That's why they shot Abraham Lincoln, because he said we're going to print our own money. It wasn't just about slavery. He was printing our own money. And
what about J.D. Rockefeller? What about J.D. Rockefeller? He existed when we were still when the dollar was backed by gold.
That's so true.
He ran the country, man. We still
have no argument like this because that's actually very, very true.
No. When he got started, he had to borrow money to get started. That came from private bankers. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know.
No. What I'm saying is, he still was the 1%. How does that change anything, Rich?
Until you go to the root cause, then you're just talking for free.
Okay, so
but you're not giving us a salute. Okay, all right.
The U.S. government has to print its own money. You have to get rid of the electoral college so you have a true democratic society and not a democratic republic.
No. We are not a democratic society. We are a democratic republic. And what that means is
that's what I just said. You was not listening. I said
I really am listening. I actually very much respect you, sir.
I said we are not a true democracy. We're a democratic republic. That's what I said.
That was the last thing he said. So moving forward, pushing forward, right?
So we're going to talk about that money because all this comes back to who controls printing your money. See, you guys are arguing at the end of the line of the assembly line. Go to the beginning of the line where the money started at. And as long as you have two parties who will suck up. Here, I'll give you a prime example. Now shut my mouth.
Rich, I take it to the architect when he drew up the line.
I'll give you a quick example. AOC came out firing years ago. She got elected. Seemed like she was really on the up and up. I want someone to check all of the corporate lobbyists who've been sponsoring her in her last few terms. And then you'll see how she flipped. I'm done talking.
Hey, Rich, speaking of money, I'm upset about the penny. I went to McDonald's the other day. I didn't get my change. I was like, bro. No, but she ended up having found 2 pennies. I wasn't acting crazy about it, but she was like, "Oh, you're lucky. Here are 2 pennies."
So it's
But so
official
you know the
now.
whole
The government
Penny's
has
gone.
yeah, they stopped.
Yeah.
And even I was like, McDonald's, this is my first experience. Okay, I think.
but it costs 3 cents to make one.
And then I said, I think you know how people say change. So I was like,
Yeah.
should I
But
just
here's
turn
the
in
trick.
on
But
change?
here's the
She was
trick.
like, no, keep it.
But
It's
here's
gonna-
the trick
it's
to
gonna-
this.
Be
Here's the
something someday.
Here's the trick to this, and everyone's laughing about this. So you take away the penny, okay?
I don't know.
Then you take away the nickel, and then you finally say, you know, we really don't need coins. And then pretty soon you'll say, we really don't need paper money. We'll just do it all off the system, and that gets you ready for the one world government.
So just to throw this out here, when empires or countries begin to reduce the types of monies that they use, so on and so forth, that's when they begin to fall. But I just want to say for the record, I don't think you wanted to use AOC as an example of corporate donors, because and this is just ChatGPT, a quick search on ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT who are AOC's corporate sponsors. It says Alexander Ocasio-Cortez does not accept contributions from corporate political action committees or registered lobbyists, for example. Now, registered lobbyists, it said, or registered lobbyists. Her campaign committee is listed on the FEC. It's on the website, fec.gov. According to media reports, her 2025 first quarter fundraising haul of about $9.6 million came from small donors with an average donation of $21. Her campaign manager stated AOC doesn't take a dollar from lobbyists or corporate PACs. Open Secret summarizes that her contributions are overwhelmingly from individuals rather than large corporate or special interest sources.
So my question is, when Lynn said a few weeks ago he didn't trust what AI always says on the internet, sometimes AI is right. No, I'm just saying, this is what he said. This is what he said, because he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong.
No.
Sometimes AI,
So he's got to fact check that in other places, but
So-
I've heard that about her. I heard that you can't buy her. That's what I heard.
Initially. So my question is, I wonder if she ever does really run for vice president or president, if they'll talk about her net worth jumping.
She's not going to win. Like, I think the wild ideology that like AOC or Gavin Newsom is going to be president or vice president, either which way, is ridiculous, because they do not have anybody who can stand up. Maybe Wes Moore from Maryland, who can stand up and actually like, hey, speak articulately, because look what just happened.
So
But why do you think Gavin can't win?
If they decide, if AOC, I think Gavin Newsom's already wrapped it up for the Democratic nominee.
Yeah, I think
But if AOC decides, what I said is, if she decides to run for president or vice president, will they do a verification check on her net worth when she started versus where her net worth is now?
They would destroy her. They would find some article that she wrote in college and that like would say something like ridiculous.
They wouldn't destroy her. They wouldn't destroy her for multiple different reasons. However, after this Trump presidency, it's going to be hard for Republicans to run on anything of substance.
100%.
And that's unfortunately the honest
100% true. Because the bar is so moved. You're right.
Yeah, it's not just that the bar is moved. There is no standard. There's no standard, right?
That's true.
If you begin to fact check any of them, we can start with the shutdown, with them saying that this is a Democratic shutdown. That's false, right? We can go back to, again, anything that has come out of the president's mouth, especially if it's prefaced by no one has ever, or this is the biggest, or you will never hit. Like, that's always
If anything, we can say Trump has actually made it easier from anybody on this panel in this call to actually run for president. Yes, our lives were going to be looked at like unveiled, but actually Trump has made it easier from everybody on this panel to run for president.
That's true.
I don't disagree with that. But let me jump to this. And this is where I was trying to actually get to. Excuse me. So with the shutdown being open or being over, and I'll start this with you, Deuce. What are the expectations for the American citizen? Because that's who's been forgotten about. for the next 6 months. We'll start with Deuce, we'll go to Brooks, then we'll hit Steph and Lynn, and then we'll hit you, Rich.
The expectation for the American citizens now that the government is back in order?
It's back open. Yeah.
Will you give me a little bit more? What do you mean expectation?
Sure. Are we back to business as usual? Are we going to begin to see the average household being able to save money? Are prices coming down? Are we going to end up being?
Okay. Yeah, no, man. Oh no, we broke. We broke, cuz I got friends in different industries calling me, Lord, have you seen these insurance premiums? Oh my God. They are already going through the roof because it's open enrollment right now. Those things are shooting up, right? So that's one. Two, we don't know the state of the U.S. economy because the government's been shut down. We haven't had our economic numbers, right? I know because my day trading, there have been guesses coming out. We don't know the true number of unemployment. We don't know the true number of job growth or loss or any of those numbers. So once that hits, I know I've seen a lot of companies do layoffs.
It's the highest it's ever been in the world or in the history of the world.
Yeah. They're talking about unemployment. I seen Stephen Miller come up there and say that. So I think to answer your question, it's going to be. Yeah, he meant to say unemployment, not the economy.
Right.
It's going to be tougher, man. I think it's going to be tougher. I think here's what they can expect. Three things. One, they can expect a stimulus check. Not now; it's too soon. They're gonna cut it around between May and June of next year, May and July of next year, closer to the midterms. People always remember the last president that gave them money. They can expect.
They thought that Trump gave it was
Biden gave that last money, and
they said it was Trump.
But who claimed credit for it? Trump. He's gonna ride off of that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna ride off of that, right? So one, they can expect to get a refund. Whatever it's going to be called. It's going to be called something. Two, they can expect higher prices, especially with us flexing on these other countries. I think that's going to make BRICS stronger. So higher prices, tighter budget, and I hope they just keep scoring, man, of who said what. So when the midterms come, they can remember. Because goddamn, if it ain't on TikTok, man, they gonna forget it. Like trying to hold water in your hand, they gonna forget it. That's what I think American citizens can expect coming up.
I think it was on you, Brother Brooks.
I look at it like, I think people are going to be like, oh, okay, they won because the Democrats just backed out. And then I'm not trying to be a jerk about it or anything like that. Like they just backed out. They literally said, we're doing this shutdown for A, B, C, D, E reason. And they over and over and over kept saying it. And then when push come to shove, they didn't even actually agree with the reason that they did it. And so the people are going to remember that. That's what I say when I mean by the North remembers. People were like, oh, wait, you guys kept telling us this. That's why I'm saying oh, you guys kept telling us the Joe's sharp. And no. They don't. The Democrats don't have a credibility standard right now. They don't have a credibility trust, that is all that matters. This is just the trust, and what right now is, and this backs that same thing up. It's a different situation. It's a different genre ish, but it's a trust thing.
So where does that put the citizens? In the next 6 to 8 months.
I think they're going to Trump. You're going to see Trump's going to get a boon. I think you're going to see Democrats. Well, their 23 approval rate, it's going to stay there or go down 1%, and then you're going to see it in the midterm election. This could lose them the midterm election. Yeah.
Steph, Lynn, where are y'all at? What does America look like? The citizens between the next 6 to 8 months.
Well, depending on when the SNAP benefits actually start are released, like you said, I think that because they're holding off on that may keep their memory, I guess, keep them a little bit more sober until the dividends come in. I feel like it's just like a waiting game, and I just feel I just keep saying it's like a roller coaster ride. Some other things are come up. None of us know who will end up running it, because things are going to happen. It hasn't even been a year yet. So I'm just saying it hasn't been a year yet. So just hunker down, as we say here in Texas, and it'll be a whole different thing next week. Or this is like listen, I love Tyler Perry, but this is like a Tyler Perry movie. When somebody is injured, he will keep them in the hospital bed like 6 months, and you like, dang, they still there. They still have the same bruise. So it's got a lot of tentacles, and it's a game that we just have to hunker down and just get ready to not feel stable.
Hey, Glass, one day we gotta do a deep dive on why Steph likes Tyler Perry. Not now, but at some point in the future. Because Steph, I heard you say you like Tyler Perry. That's got to be a deep dive. I don't care if it's another day. But I'm sorry, Lynn.
Because I'm not a follower.
I would say the awesome young lady, like what you said, like if you coast, you go back. You drift, like you're in the ocean and you just coast. You go back. That's the way the ocean works. And this is why they're going to lose, because they didn't even bother to like get on the life ramp and do anything. They were like, the boat was there, it was waving there, the light was on, they were shining flashlights, and they were like, screw it, like we're out. And that is what is happening right now to the Democratic Party. And that is what they were going to coast, and they're going to go back. And that's why I'm saying, like, and I'm not I voted Democrat before, I voted Republican before, I'm an independent. And I'm watching this party sink themselves by stupidity.
I don't disagree. Lynn?
Okay, just go ahead.
All right. So the truth is, none of us know.
Yeah.
But that's always the case.
Yeah.
What I've always focused on is what I believe. And the story that I'm going to push forward with is that we had 90% of our troops in line, and 10% of them stepped out of line. And because when the ball gets fumbled by the running back, all 11 players didn't fumble.
Right.
Now, all 11 players are going to take the L, but the running back, look, Derrick Henry fumbled week 1. That's who fumbled.
I knew you were going to say Derrick Henry. That was on my mind. I knew you were going to say it.
The Ravens took the L. And for this is all about mindset. Richard and I have talked about small minds, big minds. The small minds are going to lock into the nonsense. The big minds are going to be optimistic. And if you believe that you still can win this and you act accordingly, then everything is fine. Like, I everyone who I'm talking to now, I said, look, with the right mindset, when this administration changes in 28, and it will, that's what I believe, you should be positioned for spectacular growth. That's where you should be positioned. Like this thing is going to change, because just like what happened before, if you think about 2016, it's the same. I've been in this movie.
But what happens when you lose?
I've been in this movie. That's what we were saying previously. And then Trump's midterms happened, and what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Okay.
This is exactly what people were saying.
Yeah.
I want to have this conversation with this great gentleman, Lynn, and like be able to talk about this.
I see an impeachment in at least one
again
in 2026.
Do you think that's going to work after 2? That's ridiculous. People are done with that. That's like they keep trying to do it and trying to do it, and they fail over and over and over again.
Mr. Brooks, it's my turn. Those are the things that turn the tide. And then people who are sitting on the sidelines are like, oh man. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Look what's happened. So I know this man better than everybody on this panel because I'm from Philadelphia, and I saw his shenanigans as a teenager.
Yeah.
I saw his shenanigans. I had his number when I was 19. This dude will not change. I'll tell you something else. I don't expect him to survive this term, health-wise.
Yeah.
Now we're talking a little bit much. That's a bit much.
No. This is, once again, Mr. Brooks, we're talking about what I believe.
Who?
I'm in this world. I'm in this world of healthcare, and what I see and what I believe and what I'm researching. I see someone just like if he was my grandfather, and we were at Thanksgiving dinner, I would leave Thanksgiving saying, I don't know if Grandpa's gonna be at next Thanksgiving.
You just watched Joe Biden just die on the vine, and you think Trump? Come on now.
Listen. Look at him.
Well, let me because I think Lynn, I think you're onto something, and we have to be honest about the health that the president is in. He's not in good condition.
We're definitely hiding it.
And
I think they hid it even when they were attacking Biden about being so old. I was like, they're the same age. What are you talking about? Look at his ankles and look how tight his socks fit. What are you talking about?
And when's the hand gonna fall off?
Right.
I don't see how you both can say that when, like, literally for 2 years, the Democratic Party was like, hey, he's healthy, he's great, and then he freaking bombed on the freaking, I don't see how you guys can say that.
Well, it's easy. Yeah, because look at the end.
He is in the best
health. And it's
right. He's in the best health ever. He's in the best health that any American president could have ever been in ever.
He's 6'4", 200 pounds.
We have to be honest about that, right? We look at his ankles.
Well, we're not wishing bad health on him.
No, and that's not what we're saying. Right, and then we look at his face going blank, him passing out uncontrollably,
falling asleep
right?
in meetings.
These are the sleepy Joe Biden, and he's doing the same thing. He's literally
do that again, Joyce. Do that again.
Yeah, that's the ones that are like
the difference is we saw Joe Biden running and we saw Joe Biden biking.
Yeah, but you can't say like, okay, at least if you're gonna say all that, like at least admit that, like, hey, the Democratic Party like touted Joe Biden and was like this like picture of health and like security and strong man, like, and then he just bombed.
But look, Bruce, he was open about his health. He's open.
Really? When like everybody else was telling us, oh yeah, like, oh, he's virile and like, oh, like what was the Kareem Jean-Pierre was like, I call her the Black Raggedy Ann. It was like, oh, super great.
Brother, like, I'm not disagreeing with
no, but he's not. No, it's not the same because everything that our president says is he'll just say like the first thing, and then everybody feeds him. He'll say the most ridiculous thing he can muster, and then he's fed everything else to say. He's
Wait,
fat
are you
because
talking about our President Trump or our President Biden formerly?
our president, Donald Trump.
Okay.
And like
Put some bleach in your body.
and then look like he likes to write his name all beautifully. It's like, ta-da, look, I colored in the circle when I was, in pre-K or something like that. But everything else, yeah. But no, everything about him is covered up or lied about, even from the first term with COVID.
He's in decline mentally and physically. Period.
And he always
Really?
just
You can't even say that and have a real legit argument when for the 2 years you said that Biden was. Wait. You said for 2 years Biden wasn't, and then he was.
Bringing up Biden to make a point about Trump. Biden is gone. He is history. We're talking about this POTUS. This POTUS is in mental and physical decline.
So then how do you own that from previous to now based upon what you previously didn't say?
I'm not talking about previous. I'm in the
Oh,
present.
wait, it doesn't mean that
I'm in November of 2025. Biden is not in this conversation.
So it doesn't matter that the same argument you're saying. Wait. I'm just being honest.
I'm stating a fact. He is in mental and physical decline.
So you're gonna say he's gonna be like Joe Biden was in 2 years.
You keep bringing if you have to keep bringing up Biden to make your argument, you got a weak argument. Biden's not in this conversation.
Exactly.
Biden's not part of the shutdown. Biden
You can't continue to pivot. You can't continue to make it because the thing is a thing, and that's what's happening, right? If I say, hey, Deuce got $200, the response can't be, well, Richard had $200 4 years ago. What we're not talking about 4 years ago. We're talking about $200 right now to invest, right? The pivot to Biden and his mental physical decline literally has nothing to do with how the president is right now, unless you're saying, okay, we were saying Biden was in decline, and just like we were saying Biden was in decline, we're saying Trump is in decline too. If that's not a part of the conversation, you're not being honest, because everything else is a pivot.
That's fair.
A pivot.
I've actually always said that I feel bad for people in their age group being in the White House, having those calls at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. That is elderly abuse, in my opinion. I mean, having to wake up, when stuff is going on the other side of the planet, that you gotta make a quick decision to deploy soldiers or do certain things, or that's. I'm thinking, man, it should be somebody in their. It should be somebody in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s, 90s. I think we're pushing it there,
That's a bridge too far.
Richard, how old is Gavin?
Richard, how old?
Why are you trying to rile Richard up?
Nobody knows Gavin Newsom better than Richard.
Man, you like Gavin Newsom. Man, you're not slick.
He got his nickname.
You trying to rile him
He
up.
got smiles on him. Like Gavin Newsom.
Richard minded his business, and they ain't gonna throw that dart.
He's your age.
He's a year older than me.
Yeah, he's 58. You're right.
I was punting to you next, Rich. What 6 to 8 months?
So check this out. Since I was screaming at Mr. Brooks earlier, Mr. Brooks is going to take my time. And I want No,
calm down.
Check this out, Mr. Brooks. I want you to hear me out on this.
Sure.
The only thing that you made me lose my mind was on that ACA. But you notice the rest of the stuff you've been saying about Biden and everything else, I've kept my mouth shut. So I'm going to let you continue, because you do have to have a benchmark when you're talking about one president. You have to measure that president against the prior president or prior president of a certain time frame. So I know the argument you're making, and I agree. But these other ones are going to beat me up and just run me around the table. So
I need to question
Hey, bro, you know what? Rich, I actually like you, dude. I didn't say shit. Go ahead. Continue.
Because I want you and Lynn.
Because I'm a person further, right? And this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that anybody is wrong when they say that President Biden was going through mental and physical decline during his. I am not saying that's wrong at all. He was. But what I'm saying is, in a movement of continuation, if we're able to point that out and see it, right, we learn a lesson from that, and we say the exact same thing about what's happening now. It can't be something different now because it might be a person you agree with or disagree with, right? I'm simply saying I agree that the previous POTUS was going through. He was struggling. He was struggling, right?
And stuff that he was dealing with his son.
Exactly.
That's another fight. Yeah.
Another move of stress.
I think he was more poised than the current administration. Is all I'm saying. He knew what was going on in the world without having somebody prop him up with a stick.
And if we're willing to say that about the previous POTUS, we have to be honest about the current POTUS. He's experiencing mental and physical decline. That's the truth of the situation. And unfortunately, he's physically expressing it differently than the previous POTUS, right? We see it outwardly. We hear it in his jargon. We hear it when he's talking and he's just going off on a tangent and he's talking about stuff that has nothing. Like let's even deal with it. Yeah, he's talking. He's willing to blow up or send out orders to blow up small boats in the Caribbean, but he ain't did nothing to Putin. Right?
Yeah. Don't forget
his face routine. Have you noticed his skin? And even though like they put, he has a makeup artist and a hair person, his skin and everything is just it looks he looks unhealthy and unkept.
So
I mean, he physically looks bad.
So back to Argentina. We talked about this a few months ago. If you carry a nuclear bomb, nobody's telling you to do anything. Argentina, no Latin American country, nor any country on the African continent or the continent of Eden has nuclear capability. So when you have nuclear capability, no one's coming to do anything to you, period.
I don't disagree. Oscar, I know you hopped up once we started talking about ailments. Where are you at on that? Because we got to hop off in a little bit. I hate hopping off, but I know we got to do it. I see Deuce looking at the time. He got to be up.
Yep.
Get to the gym in the morning. but go ahead.
I mean, I don't have much to say in terms of that. I mean, yes, I see that it's a president in decline, physically and mentally. I literally think the presidency is not an older man's game or an older woman's game, or it is. I'm not exaggerating when I say you need to have somebody that's very sharp. And even, I mean, hell, you try waking up 2, 3, 4 in the morning just out of nowhere. It's tough. And I think people that are able to make those quick decisions, be sharper, and not have to spout out random nonsense, it's critical. And especially in a time, and I always harp this in every single podcast episode, we are living in a time that is very challenging. We have other world nations that are coming to the precipice of rising to be these superpowers, financially, technologically, militarily. We cannot falter or have any issues. Any misstep can change the world order moving forward. With BRICS, with gold, with military, with all that stuff. It's just we can't.
But Oscar, I have to respectfully disagree, because you look on the nuclear weapons list. Oh gosh, we have 3,000 to 4,000. The next person behind us, I think, is it Russia? I can't remember, but
they're relatively even, and then the next person behind them and us is like it's a different country, but they're like halfway.
Yeah. So as long as you got nuclear arms, it doesn't. At a certain point in time, allegedly one nuclear arm is enough to end it for the whole world. Allegedly, that's what they tell us. We have three. I'm trying to look this up real quick. I'll let y'all keep talking. Hold on.
I mean, you have Russia that claims to have one that can take out the whole state of Texas. I mean, you know, but the reality is, like, why, you know, looking at stuff like the American Revolution, right?
Yeah.
Who had the weapons? Who had the nuclear arms, right? The big guns at the time, right? And it was still a whole group of rebels that was able to take over. I mean, I don't necessarily think that the people that own or have the nuclear arms are the ones that will eventually. I mean, you can tout that around, and sure, it's a threat, but realistically, are we just going to bomb the whole world? You know, it doesn't make sense. I don't think. I think it's going to be. I think it's definitely a very much a Cold War. You know,
Russia has
it. So, and the challenge that we have is that we have a lot of laws and regulations that stop us from doing certain scientific breakthroughs and certain things, while, you know, China, Russia, they don't care. They just want to be the first ones to the running.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the United States. It says an arsenal of 5,224 nuclear weapons.
Yep.
I think Russia's at 4,309.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Pakistan, India, because India has it, Pakistan has to have it.
Yeah, India and Pakistan, yep.
Then you have, of course, we're United. Israel, the only country that I'm aware of in the Middle East.
Yeah.
We have North Korea to back up Russia. Where's China at? I know China has it.
I know.
China's third.
Is 3.
I'm sorry, you are correct. Yeah. China is 3. So,
and I actually think that a lot of what's going on in Latin America, again, it's kind of like the Red Scare. It's the having to ally ourselves with key partners in Latin America in order to prevent. You know, you have Venezuela, you have Nicaragua, you have certain countries that have these alliances with Russia and China that have air bases and ports that are being controlled by China and Russia. So, you know, it's kind of like the Red Scare, where it's kind of getting closer and closer to our borders. And I think that's really why we're, you know, sending money to Argentina. We're sending money to these places. We're allying with, you know, El Salvador and these countries. Given, I mean, truthfully, like looking back at it, El Salvador's always been kind of a key partner in Latin America, as they're centrally located between, you know, Mexico and South America and the Panama Canal. So,
yeah.
So it's saying here only 9 countries have nuclear weapons.
Yeah, that's what I was just showing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you're good. You're good. No, we're on the same page. We're on the same page, and I'm okay with the over and under on these numbers, because, you know, they're not going to give us those exact numbers. We know that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're out there.
You're like, who knows how many subs are like floating around?
Exactly.
Do you like in submarines? Like, you can't count them, because like submarines don't count. Like, if a submarine takes out a naval ship, they can't still account for that where that submarine was. That's the way the submarines work. Like, they could have 1,000 or 60, and like, but that's the way submarines work. That's the whole point of submarines, actually, in water. Like, just to be able to like have as many as possible.
The Captain Crunch.
So you had any other idea? I'm sorry, I missed. I didn't hear you.
What'd you say, Steph?
Oh, I was making light of the situation. I said, remember back in the day in the cereal boxes, the submarine Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
You have to put like baking soda or baking powder in them to make them float.
Well, generally speaking, we'll do it tonight. I gotta go, but I hate not doing around the horn. I hate not doing it. I like going around the horn. I think it's always needed. So with that being said, we will jump into around the horn. And we will start with
Okay.
okay.
So
Oh wow.
what I would say is we will have an interesting conversation come December when they take the vote. If they take the vote in the Senate, we're going to be extending the enhanced ACA subsidies. And if they take the vote and it comes out, majority, wait a minute. I believe they need 51 votes. I believe they need, 51 votes unless there's a filibuster, then you'll need 60.
Yes.
Okay. So if it makes it, like y'all were saying earlier, if it makes it out of there, Mr. Brooks, and it goes to the House, it's not going to make it out of the House. And even if it makes it out of the House, it's not going to be signed by the president. I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
All right. Our resident health experts.
You got something?
With everything that's going on, I just feel like this is the beginning of, I've never run a marathon. This is the beginning of a marathon. And you're feeling good. You think you know what's going on. But we got a long way to go to figure out who's actually going to be where and what's actually going to happen again, because SNAP ain't even released yet. So I'm like, we just have to see and pace yourself, stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Stay liquid.
Fluid. So, we got a long way to go. And it's too soon to tell anything. So just pace yourselves and again, stay hydrated.
I have a lot of conversations about power, and you can leave your eyes open or close your eyes, or just imagine if you woke up tomorrow, pick one of those countries that we just looked at and position them as the top country in the world. And how comfortable would you be within other countries? So when it comes down to choices like universal health care or being in position as being in that top spot, the power structure is always going to choose staying in that top spot. And I'm going to be 100% with you. I don't want to see anybody else in that spot. And in order for the U.S. to stay in that spot, they got to overspend on the military. But you know what else they got to do? They got to hand money out to other countries more than anybody else does. And they got to show up in places where conflict arises more than anybody else does. That's the only way you keep the top spot. If you decide that's why this America First stuff doesn't fly. Because if we're America First, that means that gives a China or a Russia an opportunity to show up in these places and hand out money and aid and all this other stuff. And now we're looking up at the superpower. And none of us, I have talked to a soul on this planet that says, you know what, I wouldn't mind if we step back from being the superpower and let somebody else do it. I don't think anybody else. I don't think that anybody here is going to say it on the side of this screen.
To other countries, talk about moving right now. Yeah, they don't want that either.
This is the way the world works, and everybody is comfortable with it. Russia is comfortable with us being in that number one spot. We sanctioned them. Who sanctions us? Who sanctions the U.S.?
You know what's funny about when you say that? I've never known a white man to be sanctioned. Not on this American soil. See, when you talk about sanctioning America, you talk about sanctioning the white man. His money, his space is on that money. He may not be controlling how much gets printed, but his space is on it, so he gets space value. And that's why no matter what country tries to come up to surpass America, that U.S. dollar currently it will always be the number one revered currency. Currently. But there's only been two empires that had more than 240 to 260 years. It was Rome. They had the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. They divided them up. Everybody else is between 240 to 260, and then their empire crashed. So, President Trump is trying to keep the empire going into a new phase. Maybe he's successful, maybe he's not.
He's failing at that. But anyway, go ahead. Was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, okay, all right.
That was it. That was my power is king.
Gotcha. Brother Brooks.
Pleasure to be on the podcast tonight. Great to talk to all of you, really. I love talking from different sides, understanding different perspectives. I think it's important. I think that's how you actually grow in friendship and grow in kindness and grow in knowledge. And I think that's huge. I think it's not done enough. In our political climate, I told you my opinions. I think the Democrats are going to lose this political opinion because they literally walked away from what they said was their point of even the government shutdown. But that's okay. That's beside the point. I think this conversation matters way more than that whole situation. So appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Rishi.
Absolutely, my brother. I know Deuce thought, but it's Oscar.
Oscar, you at the lodge?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's
so
right.
I was gonna say a couple things real quick. In times like this, number one, I always look to my Creator to pray that our leaders and our world leaders do the right thing, especially in our situation here. I hope that the House, the Senate, our representatives do what's right for the American people. The Affordable Care Act is not the most perfect system. However, it has saved people from bankruptcies. It has saved people from deadly cancers that they were able to overcome. And that makes a world of difference, not only for individuals, but for our economy, our society, and that it pays dividends in that situation. So it's important that we do, protect our own. And globally, I think it hit the nail on the head. We've done more in terms of the world and things like that, because we have to. We are a world power. If we don't do it, somebody else will. And I've seen it firsthand, the influence of China reach Latin America and South America. Some of you know that I go to Latin America quite often, and I see ports, buildings, stadiums, libraries, roadways, all of it built by China, and that creates an impact in those nations that we have kind of stopped involving ourselves with. So, it's something that does reverberate, and then we'll find ourselves again in a red scare because we'll have them closer and closer to our borders. So, the influence is spreading, and we got to do our part to stay on top. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Sorry, that's just the way it is, and will always be. And people that say that there are better ways. I mean, millions of years of human history, and unfortunately,
it is what it is.
It is what it is, and it's better to be on top than not.
Be looking up at somebody.
Yeah.
Well, no, it depends on who I'm looking at.
Hey, Deuce, before you go, let me say this. I want to make sure that everybody knows and understands the importance of Deuce on this podcast. It's because of him we have a Wednesday night show. He came to me a while ago, and he pushed this idea of doing something in this format. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. So I give you your flowers and give you just appreciate you for pitching this, as well as hanging in here with this. I know I get your workload. I get it. I understand. and so even if you're able to if you have to come on late, I appreciate you being a mainstay on the post podcast. All right, go ahead.
Nah, brother, I'm down with whatever you do, man. And the crew is dope. And I kind of hate I'm about to do this to you now, but you know what happens when I got.
Oh no! Oh no! Come on, Deuce. I'm a the Ohio State University Buckeye. That is unacceptable. Come on, man.
Hold on. Honey mustard, star cluster, filibuster. Let it live, let it die. We're gonna do away with it, right? You pansies are on this panel complaining about what MAGA is trying to build here, okay? They say pick yourself up by the bootstraps. They say sacrifice makes a person stronger. Well, guess what? We took away your food benefits. Snap that and get stronger, right? That's what I need y'all to do today. Spread that message, okay? Sacrifice makes people stronger. MAGA's trying to make you stronger by taking away food benefits. Snap, dumb name. I don't know why they call it snap. Trying to make your hunger go in the snap, your belly going in the snap. Hey, listen, the president's out here just trying to make America great again. Why can't y'all get off the bandwagon? Complaining about things like healthcare. You know what? If you ain't eating, you don't have to worry about long-term healthcare now, do you?
They call it SNAP because too many non-black.
Oh, snap.
Oh, that's what I said. Oh, snap.
Hey, Deuce, that was great, but wrong team. Ohio State for life.
Hold on, man. It's not. Hold on.
Come on, baby.
Join me on the sports
State,
show.
baby.
Join me on the sports show. We can talk about that on the sports channel.
Trojans, baby. Trojans.
Yes. There is going to be a sports segment, and it's called it's Game Time Bloodliners, and we are working on getting that produced, but it will be a thing in the near future. So around the horn with me real quick. I have been saying this for a while now. I wanted the government to be reopened. I wanted the government to be reopened for multiple different reasons, right? When America begins to continue to call itself a Christian nation, and they begin to pay these inflated prices for healthcare, I want them to remember that. American babies begin to start crying more and more because this administration did continue, regardless of the government no longer being shut down. They kept it in the Supreme Court so they would not have to pay SNAP benefits. I want you, America, to remember what you've called yourself. When we begin to fold and break down, when it gets cold outside and you have to figure out what you're going to do with that $2,000, you're going to pay this bill or you're going to get that health insurance. You're going to go for that health care. America, I need you to remember exactly where your deity lies, where your faith in your deity lies during these times, which Deuce had actually eloquently said, where you're going to have to sacrifice. When the people who actually made the bootstraps that you keep telling us to pull ourselves up by have been doing this for years. We've been doing it for decades. We've been doing it for centuries. This is not a new game for a lot of other cultures in America. New game for y'all. And I can't wait for you to actually have to experience the greatness of humanity when we come and try to help you again. And you better remember. You better remember every ounce of it, America. It's the humanity in us that will not allow you to suffer longer than what you need to in order to learn the lesson. This time, you've got to learn it. Mama's got to learn it. Papa is gonna have to learn it. You ain't going to you are not going to get that $2,000 that they're flirting with. You're gonna make a choice. You're gonna make a decision. And I hope that the Christianity that the nationalists have been flirting with, I hope that deity helps you make this decision as to whether or not you are going to pay for health care because your kids are going to get sick, or you're going to buy food because SNAP has still been snapped. Remember all of it. Every last one. Remember that you rushed to sell your fellow Americans out so these fucking billionaires can get more money.
Preach.
Remember, I want you to remember every time you get hungry and your belly button start hitting the back of your daggone spine, I want you to remember what you went into that voting booth and done to us. Every day. Every single day. Every Republican senator and Democrat that went in there and you gave the American people up for these bastards who already got everything, I want you all to live every day. I want you to live for forever because you've given up the American citizen. I fought for this country. I was willing to die for this country, and I'm still willing to die for its citizens. I want you to start remembering every time this begins to happen, the winter's coming. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold, America. And that's all I have to say, going around the horn. So, as always, I appreciate you all hanging out. We are up under 2 hours, so I get to do an easy edit. I'm still working on the edit from last week. But as always, good people, I absolutely appreciate you all hanging out with us. And as always, thank you for coming out. God bless and good night.